I know, but we have to talk. Like, sit down. We have to talk about Casey because
We didn't really
Casey,
talk about race. We mentioned race.
Rachel's nothing to talk about.
What's going on, beautiful people? For those who don't know, my name is Shaq. I want to welcome y'all to NREF Forum. I got my buddy here, my best friend. We've been friends for so long. How it's been what?
Forever,
Forever.
forever, friends forever.
Since high school?
Before,
Before high school? Oh, that's a good. Oh man.
no, high school. It just seems like so much longer.
I mean, high school was a while ago for
Okay,
us.
all right.
It was a while ago. You know. Let me hear it. I'm a bad bitch. Let me say it louder.
I'm a bad bitch.
Today we're going to talk about the
The most scandalous series that we've watched thus far.
well, it is scandalous, but I think it just has so much to do with it. But what am I talking about? I'm talking about Inventing Anna. It's a Netflix series.
The Netflix series. It ranked number one for about 3 months on Netflix. And we're going to talk about why it was number one. So we've both had the opportunity to watch Inventing Anna twice. And so after
should watch it twice.
Twice. Your first perspective will change after you watch it the second time.
Yes, that is true.
So we have a lot of series of topics that we've talked about off camera that we just kind of bring to light and just get some different perspectives on camera and kind of hear what you think. So we want to hear your comments, your ideas, your thoughts, all of the above. So
Let us know what you guys think as well. So, what's your overall thought?
my overall thought, the thought that I still have to ask myself, Anna Delvey, Anna Sorokin,
Delvey.
criminal or genius. Simple as that. Criminal or genius. Like and I'm like torn between the two thought processes of that. And let me tell you why. After watching it the first time, all I can just think about is how many people could have lost their job, how many people could have been hurt, how many people could have been in totally different financial situations due to Anna's just manipulation. But after watching it the second time, she never once made anyone do anything.
That is true.
And so I just have differences of opinions in regards to it, but I now have two different perspectives,
So, you don't think Anna did anything wrong?
No, she didn't do anything wrong. She told people what they wanted to hear, and they gave what they wanted to give.
Oh,
Simple as that.
that's really how you feel
That's
about it?
really how I feel about it.
Oh. All right, so let's start at the very beginning.
Let's start at the
The
very beginning.
very beginning.
All right.
So, as we start off, the prosecutor,
Okay.
she states, when she's talking to Todd, she states, Anna is everything that's wrong with Americans today. What do you think about that statement?
I think that it was a very strong statement for someone who is representing someone who was a victim of Anna. And I use the word victim very lightly. But, I don't think that's what's wrong with all Americans. But I do agree that, there's a standpoint of, I guess what you can say, just being lazy, wanting things without working for it. But at the end of the day, no one made Anna. Anna didn't make anyone do anything.
So you don't think Anna worked for it?
I
For
think
what she did?
she worked for it in very
Scandalous ways.
scandalous ways. In very scandalous ways. It was the way she used her sociopathic ways to get what she wants. It was the way she used her words. It was the way she made people feel bad. It was the way she used her emotions for me.
What are you wearing?
What are you wearing? You look Paul.
What's you wearing? You look Paul.
Those are the type of things. And she used.
She said that's what Anna said.
Yeah,
by the way.
Anna
She
said
did-
that. Yeah, we don't look poor, we look rich. No, but joking. I said what I said. Because for me, it's like anytime someone asked Anna about her money, anytime someone asked Anna about her inheritance, she always found a way to deflect, and a lot of that deflection really did tear down the characters of other people. But those people weren't strong enough to stand on the standpoint of hey, I'm asking you a question about something that you're telling me you have, this $60 million, but the moment they ask about it, she deflects. She either humiliates you in some way.
We're gonna wire you the money.
You get what I'm saying? Like, it's always we're going to. But what she doesn't understand is she was procrastinating on her own timeline. And at a point in time, and we will get there in the conversation, she ends up hitting a brick wall. It can only take you so far.
So you think? Would you agree that? Because I believe, in some ways, in a lot of ways, she's a manipulator. Can you agree with that?
Oh yeah,
You think? She's
I'm 100% sure that she is a narcissistic, manipulative sociopath.
What's one thing that really made you think that about her?
The manipulation really started getting to me more like just like straight in front of you for me in Morocco. Now, I had other thoughts of Anna, like before then. It's just like, oh my God, she just has weak friends who, are afraid to stand up to her because she has money and does things for them.
And this was a trip to Morocco.
The trip to Morocco,
Where it was
yes.
Casey, Rachel.
Right, they were celebrating.
guy.
They were celebrating her getting the $100,000 loan in order to hold the retainer for the $40 million loan that was coming, and so they celebrated by going to Morocco. And at the beginning of that trip, it all started to make sense to me the first and second time around when Anna, when her friends Rachel, they began saying they wanted to do things outside of the resort. But then she kept saying, I just want to do things inside of the resort. That's when I 100% knew Anna had no money.
Because she could charge everything to the room.
Exactly. And then when, her friends when things started going left with her money situation, she began to use her words to tear down her friends. And I mean, unfortunately, she just had weak friends.
You think so?
Yeah.
What about Neff?
Neff is someone who I think got what she needed to get from Anna, and so she'll always be a loyal friend to Anna. I think they had the most genuine friendship out of all of them.
Well, I think it started off to where Neff really did grow to like Anna. She didn't she just saw her for the money, like you said.
Right.
But somewhere along the lines, it ended up changing.
Right.
But like, I can't truly say that Neff truly saw. I feel like out of all the characters, Neff saw Anna as what she wanted to be.
Exactly.
Or identifying as rich.
Exactly.
And that's what Neff saw. She's the only person I think really looked at her as what she wanted to be.
Exactly, because I think in a way the characterization of Neff and the characterization of Anna aligns themselves to be very, very similar, just on two totally different class systems as it relates to direct finances. Now, they're both broke. Anna and Neff.
Yeah, so they do have that in common.
Exactly, but it's like, hey, if you align yourself with the right people, the right time, and the right friends, you can make it in the world. And I think they were both just kind of leaning on being around people with money, but that can only get you so far. You got to have something to show for it at some point. It's not enough just to stay in 5-star. You got to live 5-star.
That is true, and Anna definitely started doing that.
Yes.
Stopped dressing up in baby doll dresses. That actually did make a difference.
Yes.
It blew my mind when, they were like, this little girl comes in here, she's dressed up in baby doll dresses, and the moment she stops, the ball starts rolling.
Exactly.
And I think that is, that says a lot.
It does.
That says a lot. Let's talk about the person who put the story together for us. Vivian Kent.
Oh gosh, Viv.
She is.
I have so many thoughts about Viv, and I know that Viv is, only a secondary protagonist who's telling the story, but
However,
she put the story together very, very. It's genius. I love how it's told, and it's easy to follow. I understood the structure of the story much better the second time watching it than I did the first time, which is why I say even if you understand all of the words the first time, the structure makes so much more sense the second time. But I think Vivian really wanted to tell Anna's story, and I think she actually wanted the best for Anna. Anna gave her a hard time, but I love when Anna was thinking about taking the plea deal, when Vivian pretty much gave her the ultimatum and opened her eyes to that the world's going to see you as a lying sociopath. Should you decide to take this deal, you're going to plead guilty.
They will not see me as a dumb socialite.
Exactly. That's exactly what she said. And so at that moment, Anna realized that it was her against herself. And so, but she wanted to get as much as she can to continue living some form of the lifestyle that she was living, while, doing the interview with Vivian. But she definitely made Vivian work for it, but I'm glad Vivian continued working for it.
I mean, I could say that, but I feel like a part of Vivian, the reason Vivian really worked for it the way she did was because of what happened between her and her boss. Well, now boss, Paul.
You mean like in regards to
There was a kid.
Yeah.
That story was
the
loud.
story was a lot about, and she got
the
in
facts
trouble.
were
Yeah,
not.
yeah.
But
She has
those-
something to prove.
Yeah.
And that's, that's the only way that I can justify her working up until her water broke. That's
Yeah.
the only way, and I do know that she had something to prove, and she wanted to make sure that this was done so that she can live her life. The first time watching it, I thought she was very selfish, Vivian, just as a character. I felt
As a
that
mother.
as a mother,
To-be mother.
and as a husband. Like, shout outs to her husband. So as I was saying, in a way, I feel that the first time watching it, I felt that she was neglectful to, of course, her unborn child, and also to her husband. But then the second time, I kind of pay more attention to the support that her husband's giving her, and it just kind of gives me a little bit more relief for him.
Yeah, Jack was very supportive.
He was, like, all the way through, and I'm very appreciative. I think all of the viewers are appreciative that he was understanding to what it was she needed to do.
Yeah, and what she wanted to do. A lot of that was what Vivian wanted to do, but he never really. You could see at times he was frustrated, he was upset.
Mm-hmm.
But the support, he supported his wife.
Yeah.
And I hope one day I can support my wife that way, emotionally and stably.
And
but
just be there.
yeah, but he definitely did his thing.
Yeah.
In regards to her pregnancy, I could feel that she, of course, wasn't ready to be a mother at that time.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that came about when Anna came into play or if that's just in general. You get what I'm saying?
I think she's, and not to get off topic, I think she's much like many people in corporate America, and I'm glad they actually pay homage to the fact that she is a woman working in a male-dominant career environment, and they actually talk about that, talk about the reality of the mistakes that she made versus the mistakes that men make, and how they are overlooked for men, but and how they are like really, really focused in on for women. And so it allows me to take a step back to understand why she works so hard and why she is the way that she is in the field that she does. And I think that this is really more about proving her self-sufficient for what she does.
I can agree with that.
Yeah.
I can agree with that. Definitely. But in a way, I feel like that's a lot of people, even outside of corporate America.
Yeah.
Because you have to, even Anna knows that, which is why towards the end we see her really start down forward emotionally.
Yeah.
Like she was getting so drunk in Morocco.
It was a pretty bad situation for her.
Yeah, she was. Yeah. How she got out? Casey, but I ain't gonna go to Casey yet. We gonna stay on Vivian.
Yeah, Casey was awake during this whole thing. I just want to make sure y'all know.
She was, but we're gonna keep talking about Vivian at the moment. Vivian, she didn't write the story herself. She had helpers, Scriberia,
and they were also some of the most supportive co-worker friends, and I think I think that in a way, for Vivian, because she was moved to Scriberia, that this was also a chance for them to prove what they can do, because a lot of that research and a lot of the information that was, that was given was from them. When she was going to these doctor's appointments and trying to prepare to be a mother, these people really, really, really made sure to stay there and make sure they have answers. And they made sure, if it wasn't for them, they would have shut down this project literally in the 2 weeks. Because in the 2 weeks, remember, Anna didn't give Vivian any information that she needed in order to actually put
she had to go seek.
Exactly.
It wasn't until she seeked and started asking questions.
Exactly.
In a way, she was manipulating.
Yeah.
Because she had to get the information, and then she took that information to other. It was smart.
It is.
To other people, and they were like, "Well, we got to make sure she doesn't how much does she really know?
Right.
And she used that to her advantage
Yep.
as a, you know, and that's ingenious. That's
Yep.
ingenious. Not saying Anna's also a genius to me. To me, she's also a genius.
Well,
but,
yeah, she is.
you know, it is what it is. But Scriberia, they are some awesome. Those are some great friends, man.
Yeah.
Those are some awesome
And amazing
friends.
journalists. You know, I can't say one without saying the other, because journalism is a field where, you know, it's really a lot about what you know and who you know. And it's easy to fall like into a point where it's just like, what are we writing about? But they brought detailed information day to day for Vivian to feed off of.
And that's the
to
thing.
use.
It was for, they didn't care about anything. It was
Exactly.
all for Vivian.
Exactly.
They
It was
didn't
almost
care
like they
about-
were like the editors, like just for like this specific project.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was how, you know, when she started talking about it, apparently my honest opinion is between her and her relationship with Paul,
Mm-hmm.
Paul and her relationship should have been very similar to that, but it wasn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so in a way, that's, you know, I feel like that's what it should have been, her and Paul. But when Paul slipped the loop, he let her drown, let her, you know, that's actually sad, man. Like, I couldn't imagine losing. I wouldn't be able to, like, you think you could have that bottled in like that?
What do you mean?
Like, she never, although Paul threw her under the bus, she never, like, snapped.
You mean Anna or Vivian?
Vivian.
I mean-
Vivian never snapped at
No.
Paul. Because Paul, he wasn't the boss, but he was right under.
Right. He was the one that Vivian directly answered to.
Right.
And I mean, I think a bit of it was a little bit of jealousy. It was a little bit of, you know, wanting to also control what Vivian could or couldn't do. But you know, there's no reason to snap at it, because Vivian knew that she had a relationship with Paul's boss that was stronger than the relationship that she needed with Paul. And
Paul
that
didn't
was
like that.
And that was highlighted in the beginning when the boss dismissed Paul and not Vivian, in order to let her know what the stipulations and the how much time he could give her on this project. And I think the boss, whether Paul knew it or not, I think the boss knew that this was going to turn out to be something well. And that's why you have to choose who sits in which seats in these corporate positions.
Yeah. It can make a big difference in what happens.
Yeah, sometimes all it takes is a chance.
Yeah. Do you think if Anna was given, do you think ADF was ever a go
No.
at all? Like,
No,
you don't think
and-
if one loan cleared?
No, and we start going back to talk about that ties me into Anna's relationship.
With Chase? Or?
With Chase, her relationship with Chase. I think they were both just doing whatever they needed to do to live a lavish life. And however that meant collecting money, whether it be from people, it all went left for me, for them. And I know I didn't want to bring that up too soon, but it does directly tie to the question that you're asking. When they stole the boat, I knew then they were some con artists. When they
Just
stole
got
the
on the
boat,
boat.
well, they got off the boat and got back on and stayed on it and could not pay for it and didn't pay for it. I knew at that moment that they were, you know, like willing to do whatever they needed to do just to live a lifestyle. And so I'm not going to say that Anna didn't have, you know, dreams for ADF, or it wasn't something that she actually wanted to do. But I think that we have to make sure that we understand the line of reality and delusion. And I don't think she knows that she wasn't putting forward what she needed to put forward as a person, just herself, in order to make this happen. Unless in her mind she thought that she can just know rich people and start something, but that's not how it has to work. The vision has to have some groundwork. It has to have a foundation.
But it did show in Anna's experience and what she went through, it did show that it matters a lot about who you know.
Oh yeah,
That just simply knowing somebody got her knowing so many other people.
Yep.
And that's, you know, when she started staying with Nora, and Val and all of them. That whole relationship with Val, that really.
Val,
Val was the
Nora,
artist.
yes,
Well, fashion artist, I think.
Nora liked Val.
Mm-hmm.
Nora was a fan of Val, but not necessarily a fan of Anna. And so when
She was also a fan of Chase.
yes, she was.
Until.
Right. And, and I think, a part of that was like, hey, Anna was like, hey, if I'm going to be doing this and doing things for you, I'm going to get something out of it.
Yeah.
You know?
Of course.
And
that's how a lot of people are.
Anna, she made sure to pay herself. She gave herself a salary. And
that was a large. Yeah, she definitely gave herself a salary. We can agree to that.
Yeah.
I wish I could. Ooh.
And
Ooh.
I think for a lot of since we're talking about Nora, a lot of the issues, Nora, Alan, the hotels, the concierge, like a lot of it really is just people were ashamed. People were embarrassed.
All because she really turned out to be somebody who had no money.
Yeah, like people, and it's crazy because when I watched Inventing Anna the second time, I really paid attention to Alan way more than I did the first time.
Alan was
played. He was played,
but he also played himself.
He did and that's my whole point.
Because
there were many red flags that were given to Alan. Like when Alan started talking to these people who quote unquote knew Anna, and these people started saying, "Oh, I just know of her," or "I don't know anything that she's done. It was just a name." It was like I know someone who knows someone who's knows someone whose name is Anna Delvey, and then it fit
names.
Exactly, and then it fit the face, it fit the picture for what it is that we do. You can come in, but no, I was talking about how Alan had all of the red flags that he needed. Like people told him, like, yeah, she's doing this thing, but we don't have any type of verification, any verifiable income. We don't know what she's actually about. And we're not talking about $400,000 or $40,000. We're talking about $40 million. Like, you're gonna have to show me an American bank account with at least 20 of them in there as a retainer before I even make a phone call. He was played, and he played himself.
Well, yeah, of course he was played, but he
was also playing the game himself. Remember,
because she promised him
thank you
a position on the board of 8 if she just pulled it off. But I think he looked at Anna as much as like he saw his daughter.
Yeah,
because and that's one thing. His relationship, it got better and also suffered in my eyes, as far as like his relationship with his family.
Mm-hmm.
Because when Anna came in the picture, Anna said, "Yeah, my dad cut me off." When in return, actually, I really thought about this. The reason Anna says her dad cut her off is because he could not support her way of thinking. And so she felt like that was a way of getting cut off to me.
Yeah.
Because she, the episode Too Rich for Your Blood.
Mm-hmm.
And Vivian went, she met her dad and all of that. She was Anna just always loved that lifestyle.
Yep.
But, as a father, he could not provide her with that lifestyle.
Yep.
It was just reality. So in a way, when you mentioned about Anna being kind of delusional, in a way, she was not paying attention to what reality really is.
Exactly. What reality for her was.
Really,
and it's not to say that these things couldn't have happened, but there were steps that she wanted to skip.
Well, the thing that blew my mind is how much return that they said would have happened if it was pulled off. Like, I'm like, why? If that's the case,
I would have invested in the stock.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, if ADF had that much potential, and we had all these people are already here, like, not to, it just didn't make sense to me. Like,
yeah. And that was the thing. It was just like, if the money was there, she came too close to being successful for her dreams to have failed for me. That's the part that frustrates me.
Yeah.
It's like you're using other people's money to make this happen. Had she just been financially responsible from her time with Chase, all of this could have worked out.
But Chase wasn't financially.
No, he was. No, he wasn't.
She actually got mad at Chase because she realized Wake was nothing. It was all show.
Yeah.
And then she went over there and the guy was like, "Can you tell Chase to pay me?" She's like, "What?"
Like literally.
What? And that just says a lot. Like, if ADF really went through, I think Anna would have paid all of them people back and still been balling. I'm just saying, just because the person that Anna is, she'd have been like, "Oh, you need this money? Here, take it." You know, that's just.
I know.
If it went through, I just feel like that's how she would have been. She would have been very bougie. She's already bougie.
Oh yeah.
But you know,
because she definitely wanted to portray herself as money not being a factor for her. And that's, and I think that was just the reality of it's like that was the lifestyle that she wanted to live, but she couldn't.
But yeah, we were talking about Alan's relationship. That's how we kind of got back on Anna. Anna's what it's about. So.
Yeah, it's all around. But and that was
With
my
his
thing.
family.
Yeah, like his family, and I think he began to kind of open his eyes a little bit more, and I think that's why he had so much empathy to Anna, because like you said, I think he saw a little bit of his daughter in her.
As far as business,
And as you saw,
mentality.
he can't tell his daughter no. Remember, his daughter was like, "Oh my gosh, we're going to Fire Festival," which is a whole nother podcast story.
Oh man,
we're going to
wasn't she rooming with the guy that made that up?
Yeah.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
She was. Oh man, that was a disaster. It was funny. It was funny. It wasn't funny, but that was funny.
But he couldn't. He didn't tell his own daughter no, and I think in a way, like you said, he did see.
But he
Anna,
finally cut her off.
Finally.
You think it was necessary?
Yeah. You have to redraw the silver spoon at some point in everybody's life. That's the only way that they can
Move forward.
They can move forward and see a foreseeable future for themselves. They have to be able to pave their own road. It's not saying that you can't provide the bricks, you can't provide the cement, but they have to pave their own road. If you make it for them,
they gotta put it.
they're gonna just
Place it
continue.
brick by brick.
Exactly. If you continue making it for them, they'll just stop until you make the next step for them to move.
That is true.
Yeah.
Yeah, Anna really helped his marriage and him moving forward as a parent, because it was he lived a very basic life.
Alan.
Yeah, Alan.
Oh yeah, but
it was very basic before Anna came in there.
But
like,
she destroyed his corporate ego. He's destroyed.
Oh yeah, sitting down
Do you remember when Vivian started talking to Alan, about everything that happened and how he was just like, hell no, like we will not talk about it. We will not talk about it.
Yeah, it's a beautiful painting. Who are you?
Exactly. And I mean that had to be shocking. Like, oh my gosh, you're literally about to sit down and talk about this right now. No, that's not gonna happen. But I mean, he was embarrassed, and I mean, I would have been too. I got conned by a mid-20s, girl with no money. Girl in her mid-20s with no money. So.
But his marriage definitely did flourish.
Yeah.
It started changing.
Eventually, yeah.
I tripped out when I saw it was a scene showing what he does every day. The lady made breakfast for. Oh, man! Speaking of that, some of these lifestyles, I know for a lot of us, they're like, "Wow, that's a lifestyle. Like that's amazing," but like that's only because we're not accustomed to it,
right?
And so to them, that's literally normal lifestyle. To us, it's like, oh wow, and I think that's really interesting.
Right.
So let's say I was to be in Alan's lifestyle tomorrow, that would not feel. I would be like, what is this?
Right.
Like, and a lot of people think they could just jump in their life. Like, I don't think I could do it. Like, I would be like, I could do this, I could do that. But I mean, there's more to say about how our perspective of thinking, because a lot of people, we do hold ourselves back in a way, and we feel like we're not. We can get back on the topic of Neff because of this. How she wanted to do film school. She had been wanting to do this great film this whole time, and even her not her husband, but her boyfriend I'm pretty sure maybe eventually because they really got along really well. But he was being completely honest with you. He was like, if you deserve to make your film. If you wanted to make your film, you could have been made it. But she was like, in the end, she was like, she doesn't have the money. She doesn't have this. She doesn't have all these things.
Right.
And in reality, it's like you already have everything you need. Just do it. You've been saying this the whole time. Just do it. And in our heads, we really think that we need something else, or we don't have the money to do this, or we don't. In reality, it's because we don't go out and seek the things that we need.
And it's also like looking to the next person and seeing the resources and the
Right.
abilities that they have that are right at their hand. And that shows when the guy that she went to film school with comes to check into the hotel.
Who are you?
Right. You know, and so we went to film school. She
That
said,
hurts ego so
right.
bad.
You know what I mean? Because, you know, it wasn't necessarily, not to say that he didn't work for her, because we don't know any of his backstory. But the reality is, I would presume that he had resource and opportunity that she didn't have.
Right.
You
right.
know, and so I
we
think
have to as you keep going. I didn't mean to cut you off.
no. And so I just want to, you know, make sure that I think Neff really does have a vision of something that she wants to do, and she eventually does it. But I think at the time she just didn't know how, and it goes back to my whole thought process on school in general. They
We
teach
gotta
you what
get
you
the money.
exactly. They teach you what you need to, you know, what you need to know to do something, but they don't teach you how to do it.
Right.
You
That-
know?
Yeah. And that man, Neff really made me look at myself in that aspect.
I love her character.
Yeah.
She's my favorite character.
Yeah.
Like
and I
Neff,
can agree with that. She's
Neff
one of
is
mine.
like, she's one that I like align with and understand with, and like I'm like pro Neff like the entire
Yeah.
time, you know. And
Cause she, in reality, when I look at it, she is exactly what I've been taught. Go get the money.
exactly,
You got to get the money. You can't do anything without the money.
exactly,
But that's not true. It's
Right.
not necessarily true at all. Like the money will come. We just gotta seek the knowledge. They never say, let's go out, let's seek the knowledge. They say go get educated, but they're always talking about in forms of college.
formal education.
Yeah, formal education for college.
Yeah.
But, getting educated is not just about college.
That's
it's
right.
about knowing
That's right.
the craft that you're trying to go into.
Right. And morally about doing your own research. It's about
Yeah.
honing in on something that you are passionate and skilled with, you know?
Yeah, and that's just every day, especially when people look into like the people that didn't go to college, like
Exactly.
but are billionaires and millionaires. Like when you look at those people, they honed their craft. They studied. They might not have went to college, but they still learned what they needed to learn.
Even
do it.
Anna.
Yeah.
Anna, she honed her craft until she couldn't anymore.
Yeah. What blew my mind, I think Anna was a lot smarter than what we thought she was.
Oh, yeah.
Especially when Chase gave her those documents. You remember that? He gave her those documents.
Yeah.
And he was like, she looked, you done already? Yeah. And she literally had the information on each and every person.
Yeah, she was a genius.
yeah,
I mean, when she said she has a photographic, when they were talking about her, they said she had a photographic memory and all of that. I believe all of that. Mm-hmm. I do believe all of that.
I saw it. You can see
Yeah,
it.
I do. I do believe that she was just an actual genius. I'm just not sure she knew what to do with it.
Yeah. Yeah. And that all comes with, and Anna's, because I can't say Anna didn't go out and get it. She moved all the way from home. She
Right.
moved to America, just to do that. But at the same time, if she didn't do what she did, would she ever have tasted that?
Right. And she probably wouldn't have.
And so I gotta respect that. To me, that if she didn't do what she did, she probably would have never got to even taste or get up that far.
Yeah, that's very true. That is very true.
One other thing. What do you think? I know you like Vivian and her husband, but Todd and his wife also hit, some rocky turns.
Yeah.
But in reality,
she was tired.
yeah, she was. I mean, obviously she was the breadwinner. but she also, saw about Todd, and Todd was going through a lot of mental things because he wanted to be the man,
Right.
the breadwinner,
Right.
but in reality, she was.
Right.
But in the end, she was still there for him. Now, what got me was when they went to dinner. Vivian and Todd's relationship. What do you think about that? Their relationship. Of course, it grew over time.
Yeah.
But I feel like that is what is like. When some people might exaggerate this or whatever, but you know how some people will always be like, "Oh, I got a work wife" or "I got a work husband."
Yeah.
That's the type of relationship that I saw.
Yeah.
Like when people say stuff like
Yeah,
that.
and I think that's what it was. I mean, it's really just really about like the topics of discussions or the topics that had been discussed previously, like before. There's just already there's already a point of connection there, and so when it comes to talking about those things, it's much easier for them. But the relationship definitely looks spicy. Between them two. It's like that in yes, it's like that in many. It's like that in many scenes. I'm just like, oh gosh, like are they, like both of y'all are in relationships, act right, but they just connect on a work level.
Yeah, most definitely. But they kind of went, it was on work level, but it's also out of respect level of, the valuing. They started really working together and valuing each other.
What about when Todd allowed Vivian to view the items that were in Discovery? That's when I knew that this was all gonna end up being a good ass story.
Yeah, when he said, however, if I went out on lunch and
if I was a lawyer who just made a mistake and left my items in Discovery right there, he was for her. He wanted the story to also be told, and he also knew that by telling this story would have been a way in order for Anna to win this case. He knew that.
Yeah. What do you think about how it turned out?
I laugh at the fact that everybody got their money back except for Rachel. That's simple as that. I laugh at it. The first time I watched it, I felt really bad for Rachel. The second time I watched it, I didn't, and I kind of agree.
I never felt bad for Rachel.
The first time I watched it, I felt really bad for her. And the only reason why I felt bad for her is because I kind of not necessarily understood, but I work like in a corporate position, and I had a corporate card. And so I know like what the consequences of those things can be. But no one made her do anything. And like the police said, when she went to go report Anna, it sounds like you had a very expensive vacation that your company paid for. And that's exactly how if it looks that way, no one cares about the backstory. You chose to make the decision that you made.
Yeah, she gave him her card. She gave him the company card. I would have been sitting there just like Anna.
Yeah, literally just typing away. She was texting her father.
Yeah, you texting your father? Well, I'm texting mine
to get her allowance. But no, I mean, the way it all just like played out in the end in general for me, it had to settle. Like if it didn't settle, it would have kept going on and on and on and on and on. And so for the big wigs in corporate who had lost their money, and somebody had to pay for that, and that's why they gave Anna the bare minimum.
Nora dropped the charges.
Exactly.
Did you know how? Do you remember how Nora got her money back?
Yeah, she knew all the right people. Remember, her best friend was the
CEO of the. And she said, "Oh, I've been got my money back."
Exactly. Every penny
matter of fact,
of it.
I got more.
Exactly. It's about who you know.
That blew my mind.
Yeah, and meanwhile,
she got the peacock. They got the peacock. And then she said, Vivian got the peacock, and she said, "What do we do with it? College fund?"
Yeah. It
College
was funny.
fund.
This peacock she said this peacock is worth more than every piece of furniture in this house.
Probably even the house.
Probably, maybe, because I mean,
apartment, whatever.
that's rich shit, So, but I think that like for I think that the prosecution rested well. I don't think she should have served another day longer than what she served. I don't think she should be on parole. I think she should live her life free, and I think she should continue to make the mistakes that she wants to make. And if people
Suffer the
continue,
consequences.
exactly, and if people want to fall victim of that, let them do it. Anna Delavey is truly a genius.
ADF will come true.
You hear me? It's coming.
Okay, come on.
It's coming.
It's coming.
It's coming.
Come on, somebody. Oh, hallelujah.
Blooper. We had talked about everybody, and then we realized how the hell could we forget Casey? So the reason why Casey was like
we had to come back just
yes,
to talk
about about Casey because Casey wanted Anna to want the best for herself.
That's
That's
true.
how I felt.
She's also a trainer, so she, of course, I feel like
Right.
that's a natural.
Exactly. That's like her natural intuition.
Right.
But she's also like, I won't fall victim with you. And I love that. And I really do feel that Casey is really big on picking up on people's energies. And she knew like there is some good that could be here.
Picking up on energy, she got out of Morocco.
I
don't know how.
Let me tell you something. I don't know when you end the vacation for a stomach bug, but she dipped the hell out.
That day.
She was gone.
That day.
That day. Like next flight out of Morocco, Casey was on it. And she just realized like she had built way too much into her life to allow her life to go down like that. And I think she made a very wise decision.
Well, when Casey got back from Morocco and Anna called her crying, she got her back home.
Yep.
She did get her back
Yep.
home. However, she went straight to Casey's house.
Do you remember what Anna said to Casey when she got ready to book a flight? Do you remember what she said?
Oh,
Casey, can you book my seat first class?
girl.
Like Casey, at that moment, Casey was probably like, "You ungrateful." You know,
You
like
get what I give you.
You get what I give you. You are flying. You might be in a kennel in the bottom of the plane, but you gonna get back.
Yep, you gonna get
You
back.
know, like, and I think that was like when Casey like really did realize, and that's why when she finally got back and came to Casey's house, she stood strong, and it was like, no, I am not coming down there.
Well, she did stay strong until she hit her with the suicide card.
Yeah,
Because Casey had something to do, with suicide,
Right.
and so she was like, I can't have this. And her man was over. Like, I don't know how she even. What would you have did? What would you have done?
I would have took that phone off. I would have unplugged that phone and finished hunching my man. Like, I'm sorry. Like, no, there's just some things that don't stop for like.
So
don't
Anna just would have been sitting down there. Well, you're right. I would've
she
left
was
her down.
okay down there.
Yep. She was okay. I would have left her down there.
And
Okay, baby?
that goes to my whole point of she's a sociopath. She had no respect for other people's boundaries. Like, she wanted to live her life and do the things on her terms, but when it came to other people, she wanted people to jump for her.
Then she went up there, and she went up there. When she got to Casey's room, did you see her attitude?
Yeah.
Oh my God! I would have told her to get out right then. I don't know how she didn't do it. Then she drank the water, the last bottle.
Yeah, you won't drink my San Pellegrino. Like, that won't happen like that. That won't happen like that. Like, San Pellegrino, like, that's my thing. And that was Casey's thing.
Yep.
Like that's soda for her. We got to remember, like, she's a trainer, so like, it's sparkling water. Like, that's her bubbles.
Yeah.
You
That's
know?
what gives you the.
You know.
I can't drink nothing else. At least I can drink this.
I can drink sparkling water, and I'm gonna enjoy it. It's mine. You know, she had that sparkling water saved for after she had got done hunching her man.
Now what? I know. We're not really fans of Rachel. However, Rachel did help Casey stay strong.
Yes, she did.
She said, "You're not gonna let me hear it. I'm a bad bitch." Let me say it louder.
I'm a bad bitch. No, and I mean, like, and like that's where, and like I think that's where Casey was the glue that held all of the friends together, and that really showed when they had the dinner, or the lunch that Anna bailed on them, after they finally told her that the building had sold. That's when I knew that Casey was the glue that held them all together. Only shown in certain points.
That is true. Casey had more pull than what people take for granted.
Exactly.
'Cause if it weren't for her, a lot of that stuff would have been probably worse.
Yeah.
A lot worse. She would be more than $30,000 in debt, that's for sure.
For sure.
Because she
Definitely.
probably would have paid for, because they wouldn't have went to Casey's, they would have went back to Neff's hotel.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, like, I'm very surprised that Neff didn't get charged at all. Just in general, like, because she was taking money from Anna, but that money was unaccounted for. And a lot of times you can be charged as an accessory, but
But she
Anna-
ended up paying it back.
yeah, she did.
So
She
it's
did.
like it's no different than getting a tip.
What we got to talk about though, is how this story made it into the public eye. And I don't even know if you can actually put this in the podcast, but we're going to talk about it just because we're here. Shonda Rhimes, let me just put it out there. Shonda is one of my favorite producers, writers that are out there. Anything by Shondaland I watch, Grey's Anatomy, Station 19, like all of it. She's just amazing. And so to find out after watching Inventing Anna from the first time, that she sold this story to Shondaland, Anna sold this story to Shondaland for less than $500,000. It was forward of $350,000. And all of the money was used to repay her debts to these resorts and to these corporate wigs and all of that. All of the money was used for that. I think Anna ended up with like $24,000. Don't quote me. After all of it was over and done with, but
That's crazy.
it's wild, and it's just like all of this made it into the public eye, and it's probably the #1 series, and who knows how long on Netflix, all for under $500,000, and I just think that's amazing.
Yeah.
Anna sold herself out again for just a couple of dollars.
Yeah, but if you think about it though, like she could make more money from interviews.
Yeah, and she probably still is. But I will say this now that the story is told, and I think that the reason the story was told, because remember they make mention in the movie many times, all of the things in the story are real except for the parts that are completely made up. That gave leverage for Anna to tell her story through her eyes in every modest and honest way, which is how Anna can still make money off of it. Because this is the story that she told to Shonda is just a perception of what she wants to tell. Only person who knows the real true story is Anna and those that were involved. And who
Yep.
knows when we'll actually get that.
Yep, and probably won't, because like you said, people are ashamed of
Yeah.
something like that. Somebody especially with nothing,
Exactly.
and but I guess we can wrap it up with that.
Oh man, this has been great. It's like we've been talking about doing this podcast, and we've been talking about like the different things about Anna. It's been a topic of discussion for months now, and so it's just really great to finally be here in sunny Columbia and to have the opportunity to talk about a topic that's been reaching all around the world. So, heck yeah.
Yeah, so definitely be looking out for some more podcasts, guys.
All right, man.
Don't forget, this is my best friend, Mr. Chris.
This is
I'm
me.
Shaq. Thank you for joining in on Rap Forum Podcast. We'll catch you guys later.
All right, catch you later.